And welcome back to the Constitutionals podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, I'm having trouble logging in my phone. This is the premier podcast for the website, C Plus Comedy, like I just said. It's a website. Go there. We have big news. I believe in the last episode I said News Time was going to be back on track. And baby, we're back on track, save for this week's episode. I recorded last Wednesday or Thursday. After meetings, after work, I recorded 4 straight hours, with the exception of one 30-minute break. I think it was 45 minutes breaks. But anyway, I recorded for 4 hours of 26 episodes of News Time. And, or 24, I don't know, however many episodes I was behind. And then I just have to do this week's episode, and we'll be caught up. I still have to find. Oh, I then have to upload. I mean, they're already uploaded. They're already. I had to create a new. I have 3 hard drives, 3 portable hard drives. One is the oldest one that I've had since like college, and it is a moving disk hard drive, and I am ultimately going to get rid of it. Hopefully within the next couple of months or so. However, I'm still using it for now. And it doesn't have anything important on it. But there's another hard drive I have, which is an SSD enclosure. I've moved that to the Mac because you can't use multiple files on Windows and Mac. And then I also have another hard drive that just has a bunch of extra stuff, like ROMs and I'll say it. I used to download movies, so. So everything, even though now I'm a proponent of buying 4K Blu-rays and no DVDs. I still have those movies for posterity's sake. And, and like, comedy stuff and live acts and live shows and stuff like that. So, yeah, here we go. So anyway, now the SSD is just full of all the news times and constitutionals that were living on the Mac for a little bit. Now I have, as Adobe Audition is telling me, 83 gigabytes free of space on the Mac. God, if I could have gotten more, I would have gotten more. Also, if I had a full terabyte or so of storage, I would. But I don't. So I can't. Any Hoosers, what else is going on? Nova got her shots. She's sleeping on the couch. She got her shots 2 days ago. And every single time I take her to get her shots, whether it be the day I adopted her last year or this year, or the week I adopted her, rather, she got her shots. She gets so lovey-dovey and needs to be around me. And unfortunately, I was gone the day that I took her to get her shots, and I dropped her off at home, and I had to go to a football game. Falcons-Steelers. Falcons lost, of course. And I had to go to that game, but I knew she was going to be very clingy. And I get back home, she runs up to me, and she's just like, "I need you to be with me." And she sleeps with me. All this stuff. She's just like, has to be. I have to be near her when she eats. All this stuff. Monday, she has an adverse reaction to the shots. In that she, quite frankly, goes to the bathroom a ton, and not like a ton like an abnormal amount, but it's if she went to the bathroom, let's say twice a day, 2 or 3 times a day, then yesterday she she went to the bathroom maybe 6-7 times, or 4 or 5 times, but one of them was actually 2 of them were just disgusting. Like one of them, she took the most. I'm gonna get gross for a second. She took the biggest poop and decided not to bury it. just decided not to bury it in her kitty litter, which was unfortunate for me because I walked in maybe like an hour later and it just stunk in the bathroom because I had this forever thing. It just stunk, and I just saw this huge, it truly looked like a small dog had pooped. And I was like, God, no. She watched me walk in there. Like I was going to the bathroom, but she followed. She also followed. She never follows me unless she's hungry, or she has these shots, and she had these shots, and she always followed me around when she gets those shots, and that's what I had to deal with. But now she's sleeping, curled up on a blanket that I was sitting on as I played Overwatch 2 last night and Shadows of Mordor. You know what sucks is a lot of these Game of the Year editions, and we have a video game thing coming up after this first story, but a lot of these Game of the Year editions are separate games from if you already own the previous game. I owned the previous Shadow of Mordor, and then I saw Shadow of Mordor was on sale. Lord of the Rings Shadow of Mordor. It was on sale for like $5, the Game of the Year edition. So I bought it. So I don't have to put in the disc, and also I don't have the disc anymore. So I bought it, and it has separate achievements. It's the same achievements, but they're separate. It's a separate game. The Witcher also did that. So instead of opting to buy Witcher Game of the Year, I just bought the DLC. Even though Game of the Year would always go on sale, but the DLC for the regular game never did until 2 years ago. Stop separating those. I hate it. Let's get on to this first story. This comes from Ashley Wong at the Wall Street Journal. K-pop sells out arenas. Can K-pop sell Broadway tickets? There's a brand new show, Broadway show, called K-pop. It's a musical, and it's hoping to bank on the current hits that Korean pop, K-pop, has brought into around the world, actually, not just into the U.S. Trying to bank on that. We got, it follows 3 fictional Korean pop acts, MWE, pronounced Moe, the boy band F8, and the girl group Artemis. And as they prepare for this first major concert in New York City, it hits on everything that you've probably heard about K-pop, which is the grueling, as Ms. Wong puts it, brutality of the K-pop industry, as well as the authenticity, yeah, and if the stars who are regular people behind the scenes, it kind of feels like a documentary. I think this is a wonderful idea. If people, if anything, it'll be a jukebox musical. I don't know if that's the right term, but people could be singing the hits of this show. K-pop is huge. J-pop, the pop from the East. I listen to 88 Rising Radio every single day. I don't know if you're hearing this screeching noise outside. I think it's a truck. But it definitely came in through the headphones. But K-pop, the Eastern pop is just so eclectic and so rhythmic, and it really fits in with who we are over here in the West. And I think that this is a perfect way to. My brain keeps going towards nostalgia, but this music's because nostalgia is not the right term, but this music's currently in a zeitgeist, and this is a good way to bank onto that, and I think that really helps them in the long run. And I want to see this show, K-pop, grow big. And it's wonderful representation. Let's not forget about that. Because let's be real. How many Korean people or Asian people, if that, let's just go with people of color, do we see in a lot of big Broadway plays? Sometimes I look at a Broadway play. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go to New York Times because I know they have their best of stuff up. Sometimes I see like the cast of a Broadway play, and I just go, "Geez, like we couldn't get." And I know a lot of people don't think about this, but I do. I go, "Geez, we couldn't get a person of color in this," and that's why there are plays like A Strange Loop and Hamilton, and now K-pop. To do this, because even if you look at what's the one that Lea Michele, Funny Girl, is there? Jesus, I don't want to see the play cast 22. And I understand that's a more of a Jewish one, but are there any people of color? Because there also needs to be representation and queer folks. And you know what? I would love to see. There is one black guy. I would love to see one. There's one black guy in this entire. I'm looking across this entire play. Oh my gosh! Wow. But I would love to see just more attempts at diversity with any of these, with any play. I mean, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Even Into the Woods. I would love to see. Let's just mix and match. Let's mix and match colors and differently abled people and queer folks. But unless, again, I say this all the time, unless there is a line that says, "Get your uh, silky smooth white ass over here." You know, like the play 1776, a revival. Now it's wasn't that the all women version? Am I correct? 1776 revival, Broadway. I believe this is like the oh Jesus. Yeah, this is the all women cast, and it's diverse, non-binary, transgender. Why can't we just have more of that? And it's and and truth be told, it's that's how you get more people to it. That's how you get more people to your thing. Hades Town. Let's do it. Okay, let's move on to the next story. This one comes from Eurogamer, written by Richard Ledbetter. Will this console generation really last until 2027, 2028? The PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and the Nintendo Switch are this generation's current crop of consoles. They are, well, let's just say that the Switch is not included in this next anecdote, but the PS5 and the Series X are the two of the most powerful consoles ever. They're essentially just PCs that you just plug in and play with on your regular TV. And at least in Microsoft's case, they were built that way on purpose. And in the Series S, I would also include and say that that is also next gen, and it is if the Series X and the PS5 are the high end PCs, then the Series S is the lower end PC, lower end PC, not lower end PC, lower end PC that you build. And is this screen off a little bit? That somebody builds because they don't want to spend $800 building a bigger PC. Now, obviously, there'll probably be some new consoles coming down, or new iterations of these consoles coming down the line, smaller, slightly faster, or in terms of PS4 Pro, bigger, slightly faster. But can we expect these? More importantly, can we expect these consoles to last longer? And I think the answer is yes. Money has been a big issue for the past, besides looking at the raw power of these machines. The money has been something of an issue. I think the PS5 had to go up in price. Uh, the this Microsoft has been pushing that off in some territories. PS5 went up in price. Microsoft has been pushing that off for some time now, and they just recently announced that um, their first party games will go up to $70. Sony's first party games have already been $70, and it's not a question of worth if those games are. Let's not compare God of War Ragnarok to um, what's their lower end tier PS5 mainline title, like Dreams. No, that's PS4. But let's not compare, one of the games that's been most anticipated to like a mid tier game, a double A game, not triple A like God of War, but double A game that also is charging $70. That is also first party. But let's look at you know how these games are created. Yeah, you go back in time, video games used to cost 70, 80, $90 for a cartridge because those are more expensive to produce, and CDs are not. And now we look at how video games developers have to put so much time, and there's crunch and this and that and the other, and there's so many more factors. Uh, but there's always sales. But which that's how I bought 3 PS5 games I was eagerly anticipating to go on sale because I'm not spending $70 on no game. However, in the end, these consoles have to do what besides being media boxes to watch TV or movies or whatever and enjoy music and be a gateway to the outside world. There's always the fact that they have to play these games, and developers will have to use what's within their purview in order to build games. And we're still getting cross generation games, and until we start, I know we're 2 years in, almost three, until we start getting games that are just built for these platforms. And I'm including, and if you have been paying attention to game news as of late, there's been one developer, and I can't remember who said it, but one developer said that the Series S was holding back the PS5 and the Series X, which is a stupid thing to say. That's like saying putting out a game on PC. These things are scalable, is what I'm trying to get at. These video games should be scalable, because if these things are just PCs and home boxes, then shouldn't it work like that? Oh, as they write here over at Eurogamer, one argument is for further extended console generation, the notion that we've yet to really see the current generation really take off in an appreciable degree. Correct. Even if it's hard still to get a Series X, which I don't think it is, and a PS5, which I think is on and off, there's still a huge, like the PS4 user base is big. I don't know if you can say the same thing about Xbox One, because that system has proven that you really don't need. I mean, really, like you could buy an Xbox One and still play series games that are made for the Series X, because I think that's how that's how it really feels more like a PC. But for the PS5, there's some relegation to the or PS4, there's some relegation to the latest gen system. I would rather see an extended generation. I think that would work, because at some point we're probably, when if the infrastructure is there, we'll go to a diskless society, which I'm not for, but because you're really just, if you're current consoles, you're really just paying for the licenses to games, because they can just remove these things. Look, same thing for movies. That's why I still buy physical movies. Not all the time. That's ridiculous. Let's go on to this next thing. Avatar and the Mystery of the Vanishing Blockbuster, written by Jamie Lauren Kiles over there at the New York Times Magazine. Now, this is a very long piece, and I think it's a very good one. The question posed here, or the thesis, if you're in college, the thesis posed here is that we're running out of good movies. It's not, I mean, really, not really the way of saying it, but Avatar is coming out at a time where movie theaters are still hurting, even during this pandemic, and even though we've had an increase in attendance, we're still having a lot of misfires, including Disney's latest Strange Worlds, which is, I don't think it's a Pixar movie, I just think it's Disney's latest, which lost $100 million at the box office. Oh, Strange World, excuse me. I've been saying Strange Worlds for like 4 weeks or 3 weeks now. It was a bomb. So far, it's only made 40, and I really don't think money is the whole issue, but I think it's a Disney thing. But $42 million, and its budget's estimated to be upwards of 135 to 180. It grossed That's December 4th. It would lose. It was estimated to lose 100 to 147 million dollars, and it just did not have a good it did not have a good opening weekend at the Thanksgiving box office, which is normally fantastic. In fact, I don't even think Black Panther did that hot. Black Panther War of Wakanda. What is it called? I'm sorry. I didn't see it. Oh, Wakanda Forever. Why did I say War of Wakanda? Let's see. Box office. Yeah, I mean, it grossed a good amount, but. Anyway, 175 million it grossed. That's better than good. That's great. The original Avatar came out in 2009, and obviously we've seen the shift in delays, and we know that there's going to be at least this is 3 more movies. I had to think. I had to look at myself in the monitor and go, "Is this really how many?" And in that time, on this magazine article, New York Times Magazine, we've seen multiple Harry Potter movies, the Broadway show, several video games. But even in that, before that, we've seen Harry Potter explode into 8 movies, 30 video games, a Broadway show, 5 theme park worlds, an interactive website, way more stuff that you can count, including like a spin-off book or a sequel book, whatever that. Or that was a Broadway show. Star Wars became 9 movies, multiple TV shows, animated movie, apparently 20 TV shows, which I find unreal. Action figures, trading cards, hotels. It's just the franchises have become this new big thing for movies, and it's just a way of how to monetize outside of the theater. But can Avatar make this franchise something that can help the theater, but also work for itself outside? There's a Pandora version of Disney's Animal Kingdom, in Disney Animal Kingdom, much like Harry Potter's Wizarding World at Universal Studios. There's 5 lands inside of Animal Kingdom: Africa, Asia, Discovery Island, Dino Land, USA, and Pandora. The world's made up of many, many different shapes and sizes and colors and things. And they have this dialect for the Na'vi that you can learn, that people love. People dedicate their social lives on this. If you've seen How to with John Wilson, that episode that with the Avatar thing, I mean, it's just whatnot thing with the Avatar group. It's a way of life, and people love this movie. But can it prove to be, with all this weight, all this mystery of what's to come? Can it be what it's projected to be, as this great foundation for a world? And over at the Hollywood Reporter, there's another inside look inside of his quote, "Inside James Cameron's $1 billion bet on Avatar," written by Rebecca Keegan. Cameron has not made a movie since. You're right. I don't think he's made a movie since Avatar. Why did I think he was married to what's her name? Chastain. I don't know why I thought that. But he hasn't made a movie since the original Avatar. He's been trying to make Avatar 1 since the 90s, I believe. The technology wasn't there. But he's dedicated his career to this, which is crazy to me. His first film in 13 years. There's a big financial backing to this. And there's a message. He's trying to do environmentalism. He's trying to paint the story. He's trying to show that there is more to a franchise than pumping out a project every couple of years. But will it work? Will his commitment to this Avatar world work? What I can't believe is that half of the third movie's been shot, or part of the third movie's been shot, not half. It's kind of, it reminds me of how the Peter Jackson and his team worked on Lord of the Rings. And I don't know if the Hobbit series was written like that or made like that, but man, I like to have the foresight back in 1999 or whenever those movies were shot, and then to release them back to back to back. Avatar could be one of the movie, but I think one of the biggest issues is we're putting all of this emphasis on this movie to help save the theaters. When it comes down, it has to come down to the studios to put out movies in theaters and to have the right advertising to get people out of their homes in order to watch it. It's not being distracted from whatever's on Netflix. It's being able to, or it's having the confidence to put these movies out. And obviously we wouldn't. Top Gun, Maverick, and Avatar 2, and Jesus, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever are movies that you should go see in theaters. But they should also, those are black blockbusters. Black Panther's Blackbuster. Blackbusters. Oh, Blackbusters sounds like the In Living Color parody of of, of Ghostbusters. Can't you just imagine Damon Wayans as the Bill Murray character? Let's see, Jamie Foxx as the Harold Ramis character. Who else? I got this. Was David Allen Greer on In Living Color? In Living Color. Yes, David Allen Greer as the Dan Aykroyd character. And who would play Ernie Hudson, you ask? None other than Jim Carrey. Blackbusters. When it's something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Well, actually, no. Since the Ghostbusters theme song was written by Ray Parker Jr., I think Blackbusters theme song needs to be written by Bon Jovi. Just hear the twang of a guitar. When something strange in your neighborhood. Blackbusters. You're welcome in living color. 30 years too late. Well, I don't even know what I was talking about. Jesus. If these movies are tent poles, if they're blockbusters, we'll go back on a tangent. And then a tent pole should hold up. That's just a foundation. Tent poles should hold up everything else. They should hold up movies like The Menu. They should hold up movies like, hold on, I don't know any movies that are out right now. I haven't gone to the theater in a minute. I won't say. They should hold up movies like Violent Night, Devotion, Bones and All. To some extent, The Fabelmans, Spirited, even though it's a streaming movie. Ticket to Paradise. Just have the confidence. You only lose as much. I think Netflix put out. They released or it released. I don't know who gives a crap. Released Glass Onion, the Knives Out sequel, in theaters, and it was only for maybe like a week or two, and it was only in for Oscar contention, and it was or award contention rather, and it was only in theaters for just a little bit, and it was only in like 10 or 20 or so, however many theaters it was in. It wasn't in a lot, which is just enough, and I think if they really put some backing behind it, because the original Knives Out was in theaters, Knives In, then they could have the people who are willing to experience that in theater, like put out a month beforehand. They're willing to experience that in theaters, go in, see it, enjoy it, and then a month later, if people want to, like Avatar was Disney re-released Avatar 1 into theaters. They took it off Disney Plus. Just do that. Make and has set up screening dates. Let people see Knives Out 1 and Knives Out 2 back to back. It's fun. It's fun. But make it a whole event. You want to catch Knives Out 2 early. You put that in the trailer. See it early. See it first in theaters. And then when it comes to streaming, you already had it out for a limited time. When it comes to streaming, then people can enjoy it at home if they want to. I don't know how much money it takes to mount an entire movie, and it doesn't have to be in every theater. It can be in the art house theaters. It can be in only in AMC's. Well, I mean, don't do that, but but still, Fleabag. If I saw Fleabag live in my art house theater, and it was fantastic. It was 3 days, and I wish that they'd put it out for a week so that more people get a chance to see it. Anyway, I don't want to harp on this. Let's move on. And finally, this comes from Variety, written by Brianna Bell. Nielsen streaming top 10 manifest reigns at number one, following season 4 premiere on Netflix. Wait, what? Oh, okay. This is the wrong thing. There was a top 10 list that I believe the Nielsen ratings put out for the year. And I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed the Nielsen streaming top 10 for this quarter. Okay, let's see if I can find that. Nielsen top 10 2022. I spelled Nielsen wrong, if you want to know. Oh boy. Maybe this is the wrong thing. Oh, this is definitely the wrong thing. I misread. You see, that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes you misread things, and it doesn't matter. And you know what? Just be happy you're wrong. I'll tell you a story. This morning, I went to go vote in the runoff election here in Georgia, and quick thing. I requested my absentee ballot like maybe a week prior to this. They sent it out. No, excuse me. I requested before Thanksgiving. They sent it out after Thanksgiving. The USPS rather, gave it to me. They delivered it to my mailbox maybe like last Tuesday or Wednesday, because I get the emails to my emails. I get the emails of what's scanned and whatever sent to me from the USPS. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes it has stuff you don't have, and sometimes it doesn't have stuff you have. But I know it had not gotten into my mailbox. I don't know when I go this is last Tuesday, which is November like 28th. I go to my mailbox and or no, excuse me, last Wednesday. It was last Wednesday. I go to my mailbox like November 29th, and I'm like, I get it, and I go, okay, it's here. It arrived today. I fill it out, and there are maybe like a handful of drop boxes in my surrounding area. I don't have time to go and take it. So I go, I'll just try to drop it off on Friday or Saturday. So I have like 2 days where I have to have no I forget about it Friday, my fault. Saturday, last day for early voting, and I'm just like, crap. There's no possible way I could drop this off anywhere right now. So great, I'll just go and vote Tuesday. But in that time, I'm looking online saying, can I still drop it off? Can I still drop it off? No. I had to go to my polling place, which is a not retirement, assisted living facility. I had to go to that, and vote. Fine, great. I leave the gym this morning, 6:45. I got there at 5. No big deal. I always leave that late. Anyway, I go to my gym this morning. I leave at 6:45, and I come home, or I come back to the place where I'm supposed to vote, and I wait and I I get there and I get inside, and they're like, "Oh, you need your absentee ballot. It was issued. You have to go get it." I was like, "Crap." Now, part of me said, "Go get your absentee ballot." Before I arrived. Also, before I arrived, I was it was raining outside, and I'm speed walking to get in line because the line is huge. And as I turn into the parking lot, and I'm passing by this line, I'm not kidding, like 50 people, all standing in line, 650, or six. It doesn't matter, 6:55. I slip because I'm wearing running shoes, and I slip, no grip, and I almost bust my behind. And this British lady's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "I'm fine, I'm fine." Wearing my mask, but everybody's staring at me. And I continue walking at my speed. It was just so embarrassing. And then also to be like, "No, you have to go home and get your absentee ballot." Anyway, I ended up going home and finishing my workout. I ended up cycling for a little bit, and then I got prepared. I got dressed. I put on this button up sweater, and I walk over, had my headphones in, and I'm prepared for, the line was long, and we waited for like 20 plus minutes, almost half an hour, but not half an hour, almost half an hour, and I'm prepared for that wait. I get a piece of gum, get my headphones, just enjoy the wait. Had music downloaded, no podcast because I was tired of listening to people talk, and also I've run out of podcasts. And I get there, no line. I go, "Oh, it must be inside." I get there. There were maybe like 2 people, and no one was in front of me. I just kind of walked in, and I went, why wasn't it like this morning? It's ridiculous. Anyway, that's that story. I didn't have, I can't find the original thing I was looking for. I cannot find the original story I was looking for. And that would require me to go deep into the C Plus Comedy email account, but I don't want to do that. So, you're out scot-free. Listen, if you like what you heard here, and you want to see a video version, don't know why you would, head on over to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you could, or youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can see a video version of this, as well as News Time, which is now back on track, with save for this week's episode. So, do what you will with that. It will be back. I will find something to talk about. Also, rest in peace, Kirstie Alley. I saw that right before I went to bed. Very sad. She's very funny on Cheers. And Look Who's Talking in movies. She is a Trumper, which is unfortunate. Who I also think is a Trumper is the guy who played Cliff Clavin. John Ratzenberger. I believe he's a Trumper as well. And I think Kelsey Grammer is conservative. That was unfortunate. A lot of the people I like on that show were horrible. cpluscomedy.com to see me talk to famous people. Oh, there is an interview I'm having tomorrow, which was supposed to happen a couple of weeks ago. Oh, not tomorrow, because we moved it again before I sat down for this show. So hopefully, not this episode, but the next episode, that interview will be up. And the thing is, it's a junket interview. And I just can't. I couldn't run the first part of it because the first part's only 5 minutes long, and this next one's going to be 5 minutes long. So I'm excited to finally do it, but I'm a little peeved that I had to wait this long. I have this joke I want to do. I try to make these junket interviews really interesting for the people because they're doing this. They're talking to, 30 people over the course of an hour and a half. and they're always getting the same questions because I know these I know how reporters work and or journalists work and they're getting the same questions of these actors and creative people are getting the same questions of how is it to revisit the character, what's it like being a woman in comedy, and things like that. And I want to make it fun. I want to make my 5 to 10 minutes fun, and I want to relate to you or make you laugh. So I have one joke that I don't know if it's gonna work, but the moment I got the email for the original interviews, I was like, oh, this is the idea I have. Like it was truly like within like 5 minutes, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this joke. So be on the lookout if I go through with it. If I don't, cpluscomedy.com. Follow us on social media: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at cpluscomedy. Me at Chat Black White. Rate, review, subscribe to this show wherever you get your podcast. Tell your friends about it. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you a second.